Those comments from yesterday. The ultimate veteran, Bill Muncy, right there. Hard hat in place, getting ready to go. Just over there, the brash young rookie, Steve Reynolds. He won Heat 3B. We'll see what happens in the final. It is now time. The 1979 Gold Cup race is to be decided over the next 15 miles. All 5 finalists, pictured here, are on the river and running. If you've been saving something, you've got to spend it now. If you've got a trick, you must expose it. Here's where you test your mettle and test your equipment. Earlier, Jim Hendrick talked with each one of the finalists about technique, about the course. Dr. Toyota's driver, Bob Mashmet.
It'll take a lot of luck. To get in the top 5, it would take a great amount of luck for you to win it.
That's true, Jim. There's some fantastic equipment here on the beach. It's just come out to race in just the past few weeks, and we're going to need some luck to be able to do well in this race.
The Squire Shop, brand new boat, driven by young Chip HANAUER out of Seattle, Washington. Conversation with him.
You look a little squirrely in the chutes. It looks like you're lifting off about a little over 150 mile an hour, and you're going to fly it.
Yeah, exactly. About 150, it gets really aired out, meaning it just starts packing too much air under the boat, and I've got to back off to settle the boat down so it's manageable. That could be a problem if we start flying at 150 and the other boats are stable at that speed. They'll continue to go by. I don't know. Maybe they're getting loose too. We'll just have to see.
The Tri-Cities tile boat out of the state of Washington, driven by Schaefer Jr. He had these comments with Jim on the course.
This course is an interesting course. It has very long straightaways and very narrow turns, and it's somewhat to an advantage to a ballpark car. And as we warm up on the 5-minute gun, we're sitting here looking at the water, getting readings, look at how the boat's running, look at temperatures, listen to the motor, and there's a lot of things that go through our mind. And we know when that 1-minute gun fires and we come around the apex of that turn down on the start that there's only one thing that counts, and that's winning. So we try to, on race day, go as fast as we can without tearing up the equipment, because everybody knows that the final heat's the one that counts. And in the final, we're just going to let it go and hope to be out front.
Atlas Van Line, driven by Bill Muncy. These comments from his wife, Fran. Fran, in about 100 words, how would you describe your husband?
Well, he's very competitive, easy to live with, a poor loser, a good husband, and a wonderful guy.
Circus, driven by Steve Reynolds. Comments earlier from his wife, Linda.
When your husband's on the water, do you ever worry?
Oh, certainly. But I have faith in his driving. I have faith in the design of the boat, and I know that it'll bring him back. He's had a few close calls. I went in the hospital on one of them, but this is what he wants to do, so I'm supportive of it. I let him do it.
If you had your druthers, would you rather see him in some other kind of work?
If he wasn't racing boats, he'd be racing cars or motorcycles or something else. So, no, I love it. If I could, I'd be out there in one.
Traditionally, there are 2 cannons fired prior to the start of a race, a 5-minute gun and a 1-minute gun. This is such an important period of time because it is here where your basic decisions have to be made. Decisions that can be so very important. In fact, determine the ultimate outcome. Jim talked with Steve Reynolds about this.
Every time you come to a course, it's for the first time. You are a rookie, but the 5-minute gun is always the same. What do you do in that 5-minute period to get yourself ready and get your best position?
Well, Jim, there's an awful lot of strategy that goes on in that 5-minute period. You're very conscious of where the other boats are, and that's the time where a lot of psyching goes on, where drivers try to pull the other drivers out of position. That's really where I would say about 50% of the race won in the 5-minute period, especially in the 1-minute period just prior to the start. An awful lot of shuffling on, going around there, and jockeying for position. That's really a very, very critical part of this race.
Everything's at stake in this 6-lap adventure on a 2.5-mile course on the Ohio River. The winner of this heat will win the Gold Cup for 1979. It is a very fast field with Circus Steve Reynolds, Atlas Van Lines with Bill Muncy, Tri-Cities Tile with Jack Schaefer Jr., Squire Shop with Chip HANAUER, and Dr. Toyota with Bob Mashmet. And as they come down off this turn now, you're looking for the helicopter carrying a camera. As they make their move down off the exit buoy, they are then locked into lane. Unmarked lanes, but the officials require them to hold those positions. And as they make their move down for the start, you don't want to jump the gun. You want momentum. You want RPM. You want the horsepower ready to go. Inside, it's HANAUER. He flares up. Circus. Backstater is right in. Bill Muncie is outside, and Muncie comes across the starting line in number 3 or possibly 4 position. But as they go into the first turn, they'll begin to sort themselves out because some of them run faster in the turns than others. And right now, it is young Steve Reynolds in the Circus coming off turn number 2 and taking the lead down the back straight. But on the outside, it is Bill Muncie. And Muncie is gone, and the Circus with a flash of fire. Looks like he might have blown a supercharger, but he hangs on, but he drops back into second place, getting a little bit of fighting action, and Muncie comes swarming down off turn number 2 and runs through the back straight and takes the lead, and there's the old crafty veteran laying it on him, Jim.
Coming off corner number 2, Keith, the Circus was almost lost it. And then it loaded up at a big stack fire, but he didn't manage to get it back under control, but now trails Bill by about 8 boat lengths.
Muncie is on the inside now. Watch him. He'll hug that buoy. When he gets inside and in front, he could be long gone because he has proven equipment. He has won the first 3 races of 1979, and Lord knows he's got all the experience in the world in his hand. He gets a little high and does a little fighting as he comes down the lead at the end of lap number 1. So Bill Muncie, everybody, as a matter of fact, these few aerodynamic designs seem to be flying a little more than usual. It is Circus running in second place with Steve Reynolds. Jack Schaefer Jr. running third. Chip HANAUER is running in the number 4 spot. And Dr. Toyota is way back with Bob Matschmidt. But the man of the moment is Bill Muncie driving that blue the Atlas, and he's flying off to a big lead. He's got a half a straight lead already over the second place boat. Let's take a moment and go back to that second turn in the first lap and watch this violent action involving Circus on the inside.
Keith, it looks as though that tight number 1 lane is too much for Steve Reynolds, and the Circus hits a hole. He bounces around. It's like trying to control a wild steed. His foot comes off the accelerator. Raw fuel hits the stacks, causing a flash fire in the stacks and losing power momentarily, giving Muncie a big edge as he goes down the chutes.
And I'll tell you one thing, as we go back to the live action, Bill Muncie is going to be awfully hard to catch now because he does have a big lead. We'll be back with the finish. Gold Cup race in a moment. Green flag means 1 lap to go, and that's always a welcome sign, isn't it? When you get that far out in front, and when you're running in rough conditions like this, I know automobile racers and unlimited hydroplane people do the same thing. They always start looking for something.
Some the driver will hold his breath from the exit bin to the entrance bin all the way down the straight.
Bill Muncie turning down off turn number 2, running through the back straight. He's got the back straight 2 turns with a long straight to go, and the Gold Cup is his for an 8th time. What an incredible career he's had.
Keith, only about 9 square inches of each sponsor is supposed to touch the water at half the propeller, but they are getting too high. They're actually flying the boat.
Don't push it unless you have to, and he is not pushing it at this particular point because he has a very big lead, and Steve Reynolds had his troubles coming off turn number 2 in the very first lap where she loaded up on him, a little spy, lost us for a fraction, but that was enough. Turn. Having lapped Dr. Toyota, he is on the home straight right now with a checkered flag high in the air, being held by a man who put in a lot of miles in unlimited racing, the Alter. Here comes Bill Muncie from La Mesa, California. He wins the Gold Cup for the 8th time. Coming on to finish in second place with the Circus. Right there, being driven by Steve Reynolds out of Mercer Island, Washington. A little bit of 1 untoward fraction of a second took him right out of the competition in the very first lap. So he is in second place, and from here on it'll be Squire Shop, Tri-Cities, and Dr. Toyota. And the next celebration is on for Bill Muncie and the Atlas Van Lines crew, Jim Lucero, the crew chief who prepared the boat so well. And Bill Muxey now with 54 total career victories, including 8 Gold Cup wins, and he has become only the second driver in history to win the Gold Cup 3 successive times. Keith Jackson, Jim Hendrick from Madison, Indiana. After this message, we'll return to the Prescott Frontier Days Rodeo.